Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna start making a video on replacing the gaskets that were leaking on this engine, as well as trying to fix that leaky carburetor. So I'm gonna be pulling this engine. This is probably gonna end up being a two-parter, because once I pull this motor off, I'm probably gonna take it back to my house to complete it and then bring it back here and put it on. So expect it to be a two-parter. Just a couple other things to mention besides that. Put the AC in today, which was nice, and I went ahead and touched up this table because it had the colors red, black, and yellow there, I had noticed, which is the colors of the German flag, and I wasn't really down with that. I don't care, what their situation is now versus what their situation was in 1940. I'm not rocking Germany's colors in here. It was a coincidence. The red and the black were already there. The yellow got on this table when I was repainting an engine, so I just figured touch that up real quick and get rid of that, because I'm not down with those colors. It's either red, white, and blue or the regular color. But other thing was, so I put the AC in. It was about 88 today. It got it down to about 66 in here. But up in the attic area, it was probably about 100 degrees up in there. I had to go up there to drain the thing that's catching water. I had to drain it into a bucket and dump it. And then I realized, the cold air was escaping up into there, into that hot area. So there was this one big one here, and the door is open right now, but there was another small one that was open. So I ended up putting the boards, because there's some extra wood up in there, I ended up putting the boards over this to cover up there so that the cold air doesn't escape up in there. It's still, on the sides can get up. I mean, it's not blocked off, but I think it needs to be that way for ventilation. There is more wood. If I wanted to, I could push more wood along the side of it to close it even more, but I think you need it like that for ventilation. So I left that alone, and irregardless, I don't plan on going back up there again until the fall, because it is hot as hell up in there, and I'm done cooking in the summer, and I'm done freezing my ass off in the winter. So this AC being in here is a game changer, because now I don't have to cook anymore, and then in the winter I'll have heat. Okay, so I had to go up in there. I started sweating my ass off. There's only one section that you can kind of move around easily, and then there's beams, 2 or 3 beams you have to crawl under to get to that side. So I came out of there sweating my ass off. I smelled a little bit like mouse piss, because there's remnants of it from when they were up in here, and I was filthy. And so then I ended up going home, taking a shower, ate something, and then I fell asleep for 3 hours, because I was just like, fuck that. So I'm probably not going back up in there again until the fall, unless I really have to empty that thing that catches water, because like I said, there's a little bit of a leak in here that I have to repair, which I'm not going to do until the end of the season, or most likely winter, just repainting the place. So, but yeah, I'm not using it right now. It's still about, actually it tells you right here, it's still 82 right now, about. So it's still a little bit warm, but it's 8:26, and I have my shirt off, so I'm good. All right, so let me see how this is. Yeah, see, the paint was bubbling over the yellow. The rest of it went okay. I found out with that video I made on that snapper, the reason the paint was starting to kind of bubble and not adhere well wasn't because of that stupid can design at the top. Even though I don't like that design, it was actually because I was probably spraying too close in that situation. Other situations could have been some kind of oily residue that I couldn't see that was causing it. I gotta start. I haven't made videos in a while, so I gotta remember to aim this properly. So from a distance, right, this is the good regular top. For the Regal Red, you can still get the regular tops at Walmart. They're behind glass, so you got to go over a stupid electronics counter to have them open it, which doesn't make any sense to me because in this state, Home Depot and Lowe's doesn't keep it behind a counter because they do that because they don't want people underage buying it and going out and tagging shit up, which I understand, but if they're going to do that, they should be doing that across the board because that's the one thing I don't like about going to Walmart for paint. It's behind the glass. You have to walk all the way over to where the computers are, because that's where they had the person has the key, and then they walk all the way back with you to open that stupid glass up. Where you can't just, like at Home Depot, you can stand there and decide what color you need, this and that. You get this guy right on top of you. It's like, I need that color. He opens it, gets it for you. It's the one thing I don't like. But they have the John Deere green, I think the yellow as well, the Regal Red, and they may have one other color in the regular nozzle still. The Sunrise Red, which is this, I believe this is this is the Sunrise Red, right? Because that's Regal. The lighter one's the Sunrise. The Sunrise they don't have at Walmart, that red. So that you have to buy in that stupid 5 nozzle top, which I don't like. Because also the other thing is they sell that handle that clips on to these. So you don't have to sit here and use your finger and get tired. That little handle clips on and you can use it like a real spray gun. With those new nozzles, you can't even do that anyway. So in my opinion, it was a stupid idea. They asked me about it, like I said that one time. I told them I didn't like it. They were better off leaving it like this, and then if you wanted to, you could buy the freaking trigger and, spray that way. And I still think they spray better that way. And if it clogs, you just swap this this top off. That other one, you can't do it. So I think it's retarded. But, his job was to boast it and push it from the people up top that designed that. But whoever engineered that new design cap, it was stupid. It's over complicated. Just keep things simple. Okay? This has worked like this with this style top for 20 years. And before that, they had the little smaller caps. That was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Leave it that way. And then you can use that nice handle that hooks on there and you're good. There's no reason to make things overcomplicated. People always want to overcomplicate everything. Life doesn't have to be complicated. You can keep things simple. Life is easier if you keep things simple. You don't overthink things. There's no reason to. So, but whatever. All right. I'm gonna pause this and then we're gonna get into pulling this motor. All right. Yeah, so that's better. Still a little bit of yellow showing, but at least it's not whatever it was. Black, red, yellow. I'm not down with that. Sorry. Red, white, and blue. Yeah, but I'm turning 40 this year. I've worked outside the majority of my life. And I'm done cooking in the summer and freezing in the winter. Other than to mow the lawn or do some snow removal, which I'm slowing down on both of. I'm not I'm not doing it no more. I can't do it no more. I can't handle it. I can't cook out there anymore in the summer. Luckily over here it's a little bit more shady, which is nice, but now you close everything up, turn that AC on. Within like 5 minutes, the thing was already down to 70. And then it got down as low as about 66 in here. And then I had noticed that some of that cold air was escaping up into that super hot area, so I closed that down. So, yeah, all right. We're done with the ranting about this. So, hood comes off on these Craftsmans. You just push it down about this far and pull up, and the whole thing comes right off. All right. Even here with the lighting, I guess with the doors shut, you would be a little bit better. Lighting here could still be a little bit better. I could always add on in the future. But anyway, one thing I already noticed is these two Allen bolts that hold the muffler on. I don't think I brought those with me. So that's already going to be something I'm going to have to go back and get. I have the pliers to take the fuel line off. Everything else I think I have. But I'm still just getting adjusted to, working over here more. So I don't have every tool over here all the time. Luckily, home isn't far. So if I don't have something, I can always run and get it. I think I have everything else that I need. So we'll go as far as I can, and then if I have to, I will, go run and get that Allen wrench. I just noticed that one bolt's missing. This is the last good flathead I know I have, also a 12. They have it rated at 10.5, but again, that's just false. It's this, I think I have these in the hardware here, so that's fine. Here, I've got a couple Allen wrenches here, but I don't think I have that size. The chances that I'm gonna have that size here is gonna be like, I might get lucky. I doubt it though. Wow, that is lucky. Okay, yeah, that is lucky. What else? That's about it. You just unhook the wiring harness. This was the drain that got stuck, so I'm gonna be replacing this. I have one of them easy off ones I might add. And then, this is the kind where, when you pop this top off, right, it's still locked. They have a piece of tubing you hook on here, and you can drain it wherever you want. So that's nice. That's probably the way I'm gonna go with it. But yeah, this is locked until you push in and turn this, and then it'll open that and release it. So even with that cap off, it won't leak. One thing I do recommend, which one person didn't like the idea, I would put a little bit of Teflon on these threads before you thread that into that aluminum, and then just tighten it up good, and you're good. On a lot of the newer engines that are using this now, these aren't tight from the factory, almost like it's on purpose. Because it happens so often. I think it's something that they did on purpose. I've seen them where they have red Loctite, but even then, they're you can loosen them with your hand. I think they do that on purpose. I think they're doing that on purpose. They want these things to fall out, and then while you're mowing, all your oil dumps out on you, and you blow your motor. I think they're doing it on purpose. Because at the rate that I see these things not tight, they can't be forgetting that often. You know what I mean? There's no way. It has to be being done on purpose. They want you to blow your motor, so then either you got to buy another engine or a whole nother machine. It's another thing of planned obsolescence now. So, just figured I'd share that because I see it all the time. Just like these, I'm gonna say one more thing before we get into it. These newer engines over here that say, just check and add, never change the oil. They say that because these engines aren't even made to last long enough to really warrant an oil change. You know, I saw on one of the Facebook forums a Briggs tech, how he was trying to say how Briggs explained to him why they did it and how they, you know, made that work. It's all bullshit. Okay, so the oil still gets dirty, right? Eventually it gets consumed and it gets down low. And what they're claiming is just add more, keep going. Just add more, keep going, never change it. You know, if you really baby these engines, you can make them last decently long. But if you don't ever change the oil, it's definitely gonna fail faster than like one of these older motors where you change the oil. It never said that. So that's another planned obsolescence. And I don't know what else there is to say about it. That's a fact. If you don't believe me on that one, that's fine, but that's definitely a fact. And also, these newer engines are garbage. I just scrapped a ton of both of these that were no good anymore. These newer ones, the cranks bend much easier, and I compared the old one, the old crank, to the new one. Much lighter metal. Everything inside of these newer engines, the aluminum block, the piston, the rings, the components, everything is lighter, cheaper garbage metal. The push rods, tiny, and these ones, these older flatheads don't even have push rods. But yeah, these are garbage. And then on top of that, that one must be older because that looks like it has an aluminum, straight up aluminum flywheel, but a lot of them, yeah, like I think this one, a lot of them don't even have a cast aluminum flywheel anymore. Like the flywheel itself is cast, but then they have a plastic fan on top. That's garbage. There's a lot of things I can tell you about them that are garbage. The plastic carburetors in general, they're garbage. Yeah, they're easy to clean when they do clog up and all that, but I mean, come on. It's a fucking plastic carburetor. It's garbage. All this stuff is made in China now. This engine, they stopped building in 2015. They started making these in China in 2012, but they were basically still the same. The only difference was on the newer ones after 2012, the back of these, where it's you know, see how the aluminum's just flat. On the ones that started being made in China, they added ridges to the aluminum to toughen it up because the aluminum block itself must have been thinner. All right, that's enough about that. Let's get on to this. So, first things I'm gonna be doing, unhooking the wiring harness. Okay. Taking off the muffler Allen bolts, holding the muffler on, unhooking the fuel line. Fuel shut-off valve is already on, so I don't have to worry about really much gas dripping. And then unhooking the throttle. Then after that, you go below. Usually easier to take the deck off to do it. I may not have to on this one, we'll see. You jack it up. I'm pretty sure it's 4 9/16. I'll tell you for sure once I get under there. And then the center nut for the pulley is usually a 5/8. Usually. So for these bolts, it's almost always that one size, the 9/16. For the center pulley, occasionally it could be a bigger one if it has a bigger crank. That's rare though. Most of these cranks are 1 inch wide. I only saw one that had a 1 1/4 crank where it was thicker, so I think it used a thicker center bolt. And the bolt pattern for these engines, basically all of them, these older flatheads, the newer Briggs, the V-twins, the Kohlers, the Tecumsehs, all use the same bolt pattern. There are holes for other engines, but I've never come across one that used a different bolt pattern. And if they weren't there and you did want to put another engine on, it's no problem. You just drill the holes that you need, you know, where the shaft is still perfectly centered through the, you know, the hole in the frame, and you're good. But I've never seen the bolt pattern different, so that's just me. If somebody has come across it, let me know, but I'm gonna get to it.